Yeah, so we're going to move forward. So there's a calling to order at 12:16. Chair, 12:15, and we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, all through roll call.
Adrian Trevino.
Here.
George Narvaez.
Here.
Omar Gonzalez Longoria.
Here.
Jose Angel Lopez. Arturo Tomas Benavides. Elizabeth Alonso Villarreal.
Here.
Robert Jude Gilpin.
Here.
Jose D. Gonzalez.
Present.
And Hector Cortez. All right, we have a quorum.
All right, let's move forward. I guess we're gonna. We have to acknowledge the the member not present, right? Like that?
Yes, motion to
So,
excuse.
motion to excuse Hector Cortez.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Next item is we just review the minutes. So the minutes are attached. We have a couple of minutes to review.
If there's no corrections, I make a motion to.
Got the first motion, second. Okay, great, we got motion second. Motion from Elizabeth and second is,
Adrian.
Adrian. Yeah. Okay. Vote for approval, all in favor say aye.
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 All nays, okay. Right, going real smooth. Okay, next comment, I guess, citizens' comments. Anybody have any comments, they could fill out a witness card and submit it to the chairperson no later than 12:15 and identify them before speaking in the corporation. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No more than 3 persons will be allowed to speak on any side of the issues. Should there be more than 3 people wish to speak on a particular issue, they select not more than 3 representatives to speak for them. The presiding officer may limit the public's comments further in the interest of an orderly meeting. Speakers may not pass more than 3 minutes. It's just citizen comments. Okay, staff reports.
We'll start off here with UPS, Ms. Garcia, and then Laura. They come. We had a meeting last week. I know you're new to the area, and we're very impressed with the passion that you have in the community and your job and what you do. And that's what we had the invite to come here to talk to the board itself. Kind of just introduce yourselves and you know.
My name is Elia Garcia. I am the Business Development Manager for UPS for the Laredo region. And with me is Mr. Lara Albino Lara. He is the General Manager for the entire border, everything and anything, El Paso to Brownsville. He flew in specially for this meeting today to meet all of y'all. And our goal today is to present to you guys and let you all know that UPS is 100% here, covering the area. I myself am responsible for air and ocean, domestic and international. But of course, we have brokerage and freight and long list of services that we community. Mr. Lara.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I'm actually, was mentioned earlier, I actually lived in Laredo for a short time. I'm under a brokerage license back in the Miles days. I commuted back to El Paso and I worked up the entire southern border for the Miles organization that was purchased by UPS and opened since then. It's been a pleasure working for that company. A lot of opportunity, a lot of challenges, but it's all good. It's nice to be back in Laredo, involved with Laredo. I've missed it, missed the food, and the people too. So it's always exciting to come over here, and been looking forward to work with you all.
You're
I think
welcome.
it's an opportunity, for connections and, the partnership that we have right now with UPS. Obviously, we love what we have. We love to see more. And again, just be more than happy with, the discussions that we've had so far, and then, be making the time and to have, an opportunity to discuss further, the airport relation to UPS and the community and what we can do together. So, I look forward to that. And anything else at the moment, or are we?
No, but thank you for the invite. We really had a plan, and as we've come to how we're going to tackle this year, we're really, really grateful that you've given us an opportunity to be here. This is something that we're coming in strong and wanting to offer more services and, of course, grow with a good partnership. So thank you for the invitation.
Yes, and with that, as you mentioned, anything you have as far as capabilities, how we can work that in our long-term strategy would be greatly appreciated. Understanding each other and where you are and where we want to be. Really looking forward to anything that could, again, we appreciate competition, but we want to be the first one there.
Okay. Elsie's going to talk a little bit here about the passenger activity report.
Any questions you might have for the?
No, welcome. I'm glad you guys are, well, you have a huge footprint, big presence, and I know a lot of your upper management work a lot with them quite closely, so, but I mean, welcome to our meeting, and anything, any questions you have, please feel free to ask.
I'll send John his regards. Your regards to him.
Wonderful. Thank you. Like we said, Mr. Chairman, with the first report, we have the passenger activity report. I'm happy to report that as of the figures we have so far, we're looking at closing the year on a very positive note. We've seen more passengers coming in to the airport. In November alone, we saw an increase of about 21%, 21.99 from the previous month. And year to date, we're around employments of increase of 6.71%. So it's a good track. I think it shows the efforts that the airport is doing and getting reciprocal from the passenger traveler from the community and outside communities as well using this airport. So we're hoping to continue that with the new year. Then on the next report for the cargo as well, we had a tough year. The economy was really hard, and all these trade agreements definitely put a strain on that. So the year to date, we're looking at a negative 24%. But I'm happy to report that we did see an increase in, as we were wrapping up the year. In November, we did increase from October. So we're hoping that the figures for December come in. Right now, we're starting to see some of those figures trickling in from the different cargo carriers. And so we're hoping to see that was also continued into December. But it's been tough. It's been really, really hard.
When's the deadline for the numbers to come out?
Every 15th of the month. So right now, we're just starting to see a few come in. And then they have until the 15th to submit the report and then submit their payments along with that.
Those at the meeting earlier were customers. They said they had a 4% increase, and that's significant considering the volume. So I'm figuring it'll trickle on over to us.
Yes, yes, a bit of that, yes. And we did see some last minute trade trying to close up the year. On the foreign trade zone, I started seeing a lot of activity on the foreign trade zone, a lot more requests to start FTZs. As a matter of fact, right before the meeting, I met with another candidate for a brand new FTZ over by Unitech. We're currently working with UPS as well, with one of their partners there at the warehouse to wrap up that project and have their whole property activated already. They already have an operator agreement, and we're working with CBP and UPS to get that going. So, like I said, you know, I think it was a really tough year for everyone. I'm sure UPS as well felt it. But we're hopeful with the different analysis that are coming in from the trade and the economy as a whole. I think I was reading some reports that, you know, there is a percentage of increase as well wrapping up for the year on trade overall. So again, I hope people are more at peace now that some of these trade agreements are looking more definite and whatnot. So.
Yes.
I'm sure that's peace of mind for all of Laredoans.
How about, you made reference to the FTZ, there's an increase. I know there's a lot of requests there with the trade associations. Hopefully we can have some more outreach to them, because I know that more people are trying to get more involved with that because of the inbound procedures that we're working on. They want to move forward with that, so hopefully we can get some kind of outreach with it.
Yes, and we can, I've talked to CBP about that. I think we can do maybe a combined visit if the different trade associations would like, where we can go airport and as a grantee and CBP and do a little
Thank you.
Not training, but
Promotion
dissemination of
yeah.
information.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, if that would help.
You know, yeah, because I know there's a lot more spark of interest, especially
Yes.
enforcement with customs on this one.
Yes, of course.
Do we have a way of looking at identifying like our top 5 competitors and maybe keeping an eye on them so we can tell?
As far as FTC sides or?
Just as long, overall numbers in any category, because it seems to me like there's a difference from year to year, and we're in the same position with our competition. It's not so bad, but if we're slipping and we don't know it, we want to know that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we can keep an eye on, you know, Brownsville, McAllen, as far as other, yeah, and, you know, everything seemed to slow down and, you know, for the most part attributed to, you know, the trade negotiations and USMCA and getting that on board. But we have seen, at least on our end, some decline across similar size facilities. So we do track what we see within the state as far as numbers. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's good to focus on to see if there's anything that's competitive rate-wise. I mean, when we talk airports to airports and we look at, you know, maybe us to another facility in the state, we actually have the lowest fees of any airport, especially on the border. Especially when we're cargo placement, and aircraft parking, and you know, things like we have, you know, no cargo fees for 10 days. Most airports, you guys can attest to this.
Charge you by the hour.
Yeah, half hour. You've been here 10 minutes. So I think that there's some competitive advantages there with our rates and fees, fuel flowage, manning, et cetera. So, but it is part of this year to reassess our rates and charges and see where we stand comparative to other airports.
And to that point, we as well with the rest of the CD bridge system, we do get a whole analysis of the port that includes numbers for the airport. We get published a Trade Numbers magazine, and that compares us to our competitors, like you mentioned. And so that's where we see not just as a port, but also what are the different merchandises that are being traded and what different countries. And we've developed, again, we're trying to disseminate more information. We develop a brochure, and we have some samples here as well that we always provide, and that we're taking to all these trade events in regards to the airport and the different advantages that Jeff just mentioned. The different countries we trade with through this airport. Currently we have about 67 countries that travel through this airport, use this airport in order to move this merchandise. So it's not, the mentality has always been we only trade with Mexico, which is true, it's #1 trading partner, but there's actually so many more countries that actually are using this airport to trade to. There's some as China, as far as China as well. So we're trying to not just disseminate information, we're attending different trade events. We go to the manufacturing. We were recently in Querétaro at the Aerospace Summit. We met with agencies such as UPS as well that was there, but the different manufacturers of airplanes. We were also, and Querétaro is one of the biggest manufacturing cities in the world for aerospace. But we were also in another trade event for auto manufacturing as well, and electronics. So those are some of the things that we're trying to bring in, not just existing business and augment that, but bring in new business, which is I think something that UPS is trying to do. So we're tied in with that. And so this is a really good moment. You know, we're trying to advertise as well more, and so definitely the different. And I think you can see that this board helps really well with that as well. We work really well to disseminate a lot more information and trying to garnish those partnerships, because the more people that really are growing this airport, I think definitely it helps us to solidify projects a lot quicker. And so sometimes we've been with different either airlines or brokers as well, that they need to have a particular project that they're working on, a particular client, and we're always coming to the table with the different stakeholders and try and see how we can bring that project to fruition. And even if it's not just through the airport, but even if it's through the bridge, or either the bridge or the airport, as long as we bring in more business through the city, I think everyone's in there. And so there's, I think, been a more cohesive plan of action for the port as a whole to make that happen, and we're hoping to continue that.
Do these numbers, are they required, especially the cargo numbers, are they required exactly the same of all airports?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So they're public information, we can
Yes.
get them?
They are. If you
Yes.
if you just went to type in FAA employments,
Show
people
that.
say it's a made up word. The FAA's website, you can track. I think it's back
In
to
the
right
all
now.
cargo report,
Yeah, I think
it's the all cargo report.
yeah. So when you type in FAA employments, you'll see both the airport numbers for employments, and then you'll see the cargo numbers underneath it.
What might be kind of an interesting thing is like as an annual review, is something like what we do with the school system. The records are kept the same in the state of Texas at all the schools.
Sure.
So you can just get that information, and you can look at your top 5 you want to compare yourself to, and check to see if they're trending similarly. So like, this number that's interesting to me is at the end of the year, the tally, what does this year look like in hindsight?
Right.
And do we see something different to that 24.13%?
So
That number right there would be very
with-
interesting to know
with
for these
the-
other 5 competitors.
Sure.
In case, for example, they didn't go down as much.
Right.
And maybe there's a reason why we went down more, so we can start to look for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think it's probably a good idea. I mean, it's something that the information is readily available, so something easy for us to put together, so put that down.
Yes,
That would be my
and we
request, if
put
you
it-
can
Absolutely.
pick out whichever ones are the top
Mhm.
5
Yeah.
and come up
In
with
the state
that.
of Texas, or are you looking for?
Because right now we track
whatever would be
the
fair,
country,
consider
what
it.
we rate, and the state.
I would leave it up to you guys to recognize who the direct competitors are, and then figure out like how we're trending compared to them. I'm supposing that everybody here is a little bit more interested in the immediate area, but there may be a reason why you think differently. I don't
Yeah,
know.
sure, absolutely. No, we'll go back and we'll look, compare our notes and see what makes sense for a report.
I'm really just talking about the annual number. I think it'd be a little bit tedious to try to look at the months, you know?
Right,
But
right.
the annual number would be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
to
the
see.
annual numbers is what we would have access to.
Yeah,
the-
and we have that already. We actually include it in our yearly budget presentation. We do, it's part of our presentation as well.
So we'll pull that information for you. and
Well,
have it available.
is that coming up soon? What is it, your timeline?
We're actually, we do it in August. So right now, we're gonna start working on the budget process, and then we present it to the board in around August, September time.
But we'll look at the numbers, because I think right now the cargo data is probably still out for last year for 2018.
It's 2018 is the
Yeah.
latest.
So once the FAA publishes the 2019 data, then we can definitely start pulling that together.
It's around this summer as well.
If there's another time of the year that's more logical, that fits in the report
Right.
y'all already do, then that's
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Sure. No,
and
makes
we're
sense.
welcome to share that.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
And just add, does that include FIS information? Because we're independent, we're the only one that has an FIS software.
This is part of the FIS's figures as well. It's domestic and international.
And to your point, Mr. Chairman, I think that's, I know we've talked about this before, and part of the discussions with outfits like UPS is leveraging that advantage and improving it to your point before about adding some avenues to it. But we have some of the exciting things we have coming up, which is still pending. But as far as taking the consolidated shipments and putting it on, a carrier like a UPS or FedEx or one of those. Somebody doesn't have to fill a 727 themselves. I think would be very advantageous. And then it's something, once we go back to the marketing again, to promote that unique for Laredo. And really, that time saver when you get to Mexico, bond everyone else. And so it's all very good points. And I think that we all have a common goal we're moving towards here. But once again, it's the edification. Even, you know, I've been in this industry 16 years, and before I got here, I was like, Mexico Customs and U.S. soil, what are you talking about? But, you know, it's a good program.
Thank you.
And the following report is the fuel flow, which is again very much correlated with the cargo activity and what you see in operation. So we see as well for year to date it's a decrease of 31%, but we again saw an increase in the month of November, a lot more operations as opposed to October. And there's currently 2 FPOs and 1 self-fueler. For those of you that I'm not familiar with that, basically there's 2 different companies, Signature Flight Support and also Barker Automotive, that provide fueling services here at our airport. So they do offer, you know, competitiveness for the different services that they have for the different airlines and pilots. With Signature being having the majority share of the activity with 83% year to date, and Barker Automotive with 16%. The difference as well, Barker Automotive provides a lot of mechanic work as opposed to Signature. They do more corporate type of services. And then IBC Bank is a self-fueler for their own airplanes that they have here. Hence the 1%. And then we go to the last report is our delinquency report. We see here year end is around 52,000 with, I know some of the ones that were being asked last time, it's in regards to one of our tenants, Jet Sales, and American Air Freight, which is Mr. Will Hoffman. We are continued litigation with that tenant, and it is still the stand of the city of Laredo and the airport to continue with eviction process for failure to comply with his contract. So we're pending to be at court to continue that process.
Since we've been in court
For the longest
all the
time. Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, it is a very slow.
Do they follow up and pay after, or?
And so the city is still, the city of the airport, is still, due the fees. So at, one way or another, it would have to be not just surrender the properties, but also have to pay for whatever they're delinquent. So, and at this point, that one particular property, in question for this contract, it has about 6 hangars on it. So we're requesting to get, the land with improvements. So that would come back to the inventory of the airport, and then we can go in, assess the facility, and then bring it up for leasing again.
Thank you. Any questions on any information provided?
The empty buildings weren't included. We requested, well.
That's why we provided the report with the different vacant properties. A few months ago, I think it was.
At the October, yeah. Did we have a meeting in November?
No.
No.
There was no quorum.
In December?
There was no action taken.
So you just for moving forward, you'd like to see
Oh, did you want to list?
Well,
We can email it to
yeah.
you just like to see it moving forward monthly, the list of vacant properties?
It was under the request, like they were, everybody was asked. I just asked for that.
No, that's fine. Just so I'm aware, it's not, You want it every month, you want to see it every month, not
But
just.
we provided the
There was one that
report.
was provided, but it was
Yeah.
a one-time deal, right, correct, one?
That's what I had understood.
But, like, we do the staff reports and we do the, passenger activity and cargo, is this something you would like to see
Just,
monthly?
this
I
one
would-
time, just
I
to
would-
see.
I think that'd be very good information.
That's fine. Put it on
If,
there.
I mean, if you have it,
Yeah.
just adding it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
Does
something-
it, not a lot more extra work for you, right? We could provide it pretty easily.
No, I mean, we already have it, like I said, we provided it, so we understood that it was a one-time that you just needed a report, we provided it. If you need it, I can certainly send it.
But, I mean, I guess we would, so that we know, just,
Yeah.
like,
That's fine.
Mr. Gilpin said, yeah, maybe on a monthly, just to provide.
Yeah, that should be something, I mean, once we have the list, it should be something to keep updated.
Okay. Thank you.
Does this list look a little longer than normal? Are they creeping up again?
Sometimes.
Very end of the year.
Yeah, and then we bring it back down.
Bonuses,
Yeah.
Great.
But this is from, we're talking like over 5 million in collections, so, it's a low percentage either way, but definitely that's not where we wanna be.
Roughly a percent.
Mhm.
Any more, that's all the staff reports, is that correct?
Status
That's
of
it.
construction.
Mr. Chairman, the status report on the reconstruction of cargo from phase 11 and 12, we're doing business as usual. We're at 86%. We're about to finish and probably in a couple of months, we're gonna close out that project. And just additional information, we already issued the the notice to proceed on phase 13, and that was issued on January the 2nd. So the same contractor, Marine Construction Company, is gonna start on phase 13, which is going to be this area over here. All this asphalt is going to be replaced with concrete, and also we're doing some concrete on this area. And we keep moving on for another change order of this area for phase 13. We're also going to replace the fence on this area, and we're going to add 3 light poles in this corner to illuminate the cargo to provide a better service for overnight loading and unloading. So on the next, we'll keep you posted on the progress report on the phase 13, and probably in a month or two, we're gonna close out phase 11 as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay. A lot of improvements, huh? All right, that's all the staff reports. I think we're going to the next item, which is gonna be an inspection software system for the City of Laredo International Airport.
Correct, Mr. Chairman, it's a, Part 139, which is our airport certification, which is that we have an operating certificate to be a commercial service airport. Part of that requirement with the FAA is regulatory based, so they come once a year and do an inspection of the facility. They were just here last month. Part of the issues that we see stemming, we have daily reports that we need to do. We have to do airfield inspections, taxiways, runways, ramp areas. A lot of the stuff that comes out of that when it's, as it is today, handwritten reports, either through like a Word or Excel file, is human error. Stuff gets missed. This software inspection system, will be owned by us. We purchase it. There is a maintenance fee yearly with it. It's a unique system. You see on the bid, there's 3 companies that bid on it. So it's a unique software system. It allows us to have that inspection and also work order system. So with the FAA, it's having a clear process of identification of issues, whether that's a pavement issue or a runway sign. And it allows us an electronic system to keep track of the infant stages of that to completion, and we're required to maintain those records for usually up to 24 consecutive months for the FAA. So the electronic system allows us to do that without having all these reports in paper-based somewhere that things get lost, things get moved around, people leave. Now we have something that we can say, hey, here's the system, here's what we've done. I've done this at 3 other airports where we brought in an inspection system because of our inspections with the FAA and through recommendations and ways to improve it. And this, once again, at the end of the day, removes that human error. When you look at it, the main idea with BFNS, which is the company we selected, is it is a system that we can own outright. So it will be still stored on our server, and it was the lowest price of the 3 people who put it. And we, one other thing I should add to it, we are gonna add in a lease component, so the leases will be automated through the system as well, which will help us for tracking, keeping track of. Right now, our leases are filing cabinet. There are some digital records that LC's painstakingly put onto the server, but they're all PDF based, so there's no searchable functions. And then it also allows for the maintenance staff to have a quick drop-down list of, let's say a building and we get a call about, a roof leak or, work on the grass. What's the responsibilities of the airport? And that will help to eliminate time and provide us better service to our tenants as well.
So right now you had the three proposals, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So GCR, BOG, and BFNS being the successful company.
Excuse me, so the three proposals provided the same service for different fees?
Correct, yes, correct.
No added additions?
Not added additions, and I think when you look at it, you're talking, these other two companies are much, it's much a larger company, and that's basically what they do, and it's not a system that the airport owns. So let's say GCR, BOG, membership basically is the best way to put it. You pay to have the service in-house. Really where the extra cost comes is the training. It has much higher training rates to come in, train people, and then the licensing. So where we would own the BFNS system, the other ones, it would be a licensing year to year, and that's where the additional cost.
Limited users, or you pay more for the added users.
Right.
Correct. Okay, I just wanted to.
No, absolutely.
But it was, it's a huge difference. One is double and one is
Right.
duple, so I'm like.
Yeah, and I've had an experience, and it's a similar airport size, South Bend, Indiana, where, the budget's usually smaller, and smaller facility. At GCR, DOG, your Dallases, your Houstons, it's not as much of an impact to the budget, so we can have those higher rates. For an airport this size, it makes sense to have a system that you can own in-house, and then you don't have to have these huge costs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It still offers the same benefit as far as, it's GIS based, you have the leasing component, you have the work order system, you have an inspection system, and it allows us that opportunity to have something that's both a good system but also fiscally responsible.
Okay, thank you.
So, is there a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
To approve.
Second.
So, let the record state that Deanne made the motion, and Mr. Gilpin made the second. Okay, all in favor? Okay. Motion move forward. All right. We're winding down. This is a fast meeting today. Starting out the new year. So. Yeah. Any requests? I mean, just to add the addition, the monthly request. Oh, you sent the FIS report to us directly. I really appreciate that. I know the additional members want to see it, but if not, I brought an extra copy.
Yeah. And I do apologize, I know I sent out the email about the missed public announcements here. We will make sure that moving forward, everybody's on the list. So just wanted to throw that out. I do apologize if that happened, and moving forward, any public announcement, standard procedure on the invite.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, we got the report for the FIS. Is there any way that we can have more information on this SAT operation? I mean, what type of tools are we sending to Mexico, and which airports are we going to? And also which custom brokers are making that operation, so we can have a better view and we can start working with our members to get more use of it.
Let me see if I can get some more of those particular details with customs, and maybe invite them over to one
that'd be great.
Meetings too.
Okay.
And see how we can get.
You don't have that type of information?
Like the brokers, no.
No, but what about the goods and the
cities,
destinations?
the cities we have, the destinations.
At least.
Yeah, the
But that
goods we
information
don't
is
get,
all-
or the brokers.
Okay.
But the destinations, we.
Goods and destination?
Yeah, but I do know SAT has expressed to us interest in expanding the program with brokers, so that would be great.
We need to.
They've been
information.
having,
Absolutely.
well, we were advised that they were having, individual meetings
Mhm.
with the different, brokers and also the different operators. It could be from the airlines to the end users, so like General Motors, Ford, they've been having also those meetings, because they wanted to have more communication, less communication, but also on best practices.
Can we
and-
participate in those meetings as a?
We asked to do the
Okay,
same,
okay.
yeah, we asked that we could do that,
Sure.
so they said that they would, at some point, they would invite us to those
Okay,
meetings,
that'll be
yeah.
great, so we can have a better view and try to get more.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Anyway,
And then,
Thank you.
in discussions, have you heard anything about expanding to more commodities or still the same?
At this point, still the same.
I think so, because we're having in Mexico, but,
No.
no.
Yeah, I think, you know, when we talk on our end, especially with the political leaders in the community, I think when we start talking about partnerships as well, when we talk about with this, shipment that's leaving from here that's going to, you know, up north of Mexico, that if we have an outside entity, a private partner that says we want to do this, we want that helps us in those conversations with SAT down in Mexico City. So we've been waiting for the final legal approval for the smaller shipments that can go onto a consolidated carrier, and then from that point we wanted to take a list of what we talked about, you know, before of, you know, having with expanding the industries, expanding to have their immigration facility here as well. And I think some of the things that we have coming over the next couple of months should give us that opportunity then to say, okay, let's make another trip to Mexico City and start these initial conversations, because it's a slower process, but especially when we have the outside industry that's showing that they want to actually do it, that gives us so much more leverage with SAT, because it's not just theory-based, you know, you have somebody that actually wants to use this, you know, why do you want to expand it to, you know, to pick a commodity, who's going to use it? And I think that helps us to make that justification.
Like, for example, pharmaceuticals. Let's say you had they're more willing to have the conversation if you have a client in pharmaceuticals, for example, and say X and Y company wants to ship pharmaceuticals, can we do a pilot and see how that would go? Because from their end, what we've been advised is that they're looking at the security of the merchandise, make sure the customs wants to make sure, Mexican customs wants to make sure it's not being tampered with, and, you know, there's proper seals and what's inside, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Those are some of the things that they're looking, so instead of open-ended, they want to make sure and be more careful. The current merchandise or industries that are allowed, like the auto manufacturing, electronics, and aerospace, are all very secure, very certified with Mexico already. So hence that's why those are allowed. So, but there's always room for improvement.
Yes.
We keep asking.
There's no further discussion, motion to
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn, motion to adjourn.
Me?
First, Elizabeth, Liz. Omar, second. Okay. All in favor? That's it. Adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you.